don't have enough confidence. Okay, I do have some breaking news. That I just want to mention. It has nothing to do with sports betting, but it has to do with the world of sports. Jim Brown just passed away. Jim Brown, NFL legend, one of the most important leaders across not just sports, but across civil rights and the rights of those in this country fighting for what's right. Jim Brown has died at 87. I know this may sound odd. I'm just a white boy from nowhere. But Jim Brown was a major hero to me. I had the opportunity to meet him when I worked in sports media. I had the opportunity to meet him. I worked at Fox Sports, and Jim Brown came in to do a shoot. We were doing a shoot for the first game of the NFL season, Week 1, and I got to be a PA, a production assistant, who got to work on the shoot that was going to bring together all of these legends from the NFL past to kick off the NFL year. And I got to meet Deacon Jones, and I got to meet Eric Dickerson, and those were both big heroes of mine, but there is no one who stood out like Jim Brown. Jim Brown is by far one of my biggest heroes because he's a Muhammad Ali. He was the first black man to ever kiss a white woman on a screen. TV, movies, he was the first African-American man to ever do that. Think about how important that is in the fight for civil rights. I know that this is a sports show, and oftentimes we just talk about sports betting and gambling and everything like that, but I want to make special note, Jim Brown was a hero. Now, Jim Brown was a fighter. Jim Brown was fierce. He was not warm and cuddly. To a lot of people, he was standoffish. But Jim Brown was absolutely an American hero. And I know that we talked a lot about Bill Russell last year when Bill Russell passed. And everyone remembers the summit where Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, and Muhammad Ali all converged to support Muhammad Ali. And among Bill Russell as kind of the major figures there was also Jim Brown. And forgive me, I'm going to get emotional because Jim Brown was a real hero to me. Like I said, I had the opportunity to meet him. He signed something for me. I still have it to this day. It's a little bust of him. It's a little statue of him doing almost like a Heisman pose in a Cleveland Browns jersey. And I got to talk to him when I took him to the studio. We talked about lacrosse. We talked about Syracuse. I asked him which sport he liked more, football or lacrosse, and he said, well, in football I was more successful and I made more money, but in lacrosse I had more fun. Jim Brown is one of the rare legends that comes across once in a century, and the fact that he's gone is incredibly upsetting to me. You can hear it in my voice. It absolutely brings tears. And no, I'm not from Cleveland. What he fought for doesn't mean as much to me as it does other racial groups. It does, but he was a champion in so many ways, and I just wanted to commend him and take this moment and say, Jim Brown, you are a hero of heroes, and whatever end zone you just entered, you scored in life. So Jim Brown passed away at 87, and for all those watching, we're going to get back to our fun. We're going to get back to having a lot of sports conversations about what's going on today, but I wanted to share that news with you. Jim Brown, absolutely an American hero, one of the greatest athletes of the 20th century, all pro lacrosse player at college, or one of the greatest lacrosse players of all time, great football player. So Jim Brown has passed away at 87. And there's not much more I can say than I loved Jim Brown. He was a hero, and I treasure the hour and a half I got to spend with him. Absolutely a memory for a lifetime. Okay, now with all of that said, make sure you guys are following us, joining us, no matter our platform. As we did just now, we sometimes have to break news if it comes across, but Colton, he will be missed. He was an all-time legend, and if nothing else, he passes away at a time where we can appreciate him. We can obviously give him his flowers, because Jim Brown was incredible. So anyways, we will get back to our regularly scheduled show now. We're going to get into our sports betting, our fantasy sports. If any of you guys have questions about DFS or fantasy, we're more than happy to talk about that as well. So we will absolutely get into that. Candyman, appreciate those guys who understand the sensitivity of the moment. I know this show is usually just as I kind of think of it, like the Mad Money of sports betting. But news like that obviously hits us, And I'm a real sports fan. If you guys just think I'm into sports betting or fantasy, like, I love sports. And I've been privileged enough to work in sports, meet some of these athletes, meet some of these figures. And when they live up to the hype, Jim Brown lived up to the hype. Jim Brown was a great man. So definitely will be missed. And may he rest in peace, and may his family know comfort at this time. Okay, we're going to get back to our show now. Forgive me. I don't mean to get emotional over this. But